Welcome back, it's Grizzle Marine, and in this video I'm going to be talking about some certain Easter eggs that I think Evolve are giving us. But before I do so, I just wanted to give you guys a chance to appreciate how nice Evolve looks on PC. Since sort of getting in contact with Evolve, they did give me a copy of it on PC, and I'm not gonna lie, in terms of graphics, it just absolutely destroys Xbox One and PS4. I find I still really prefer a controller when playing Evolve, but it's probably because I'm not that used to playing on PC. But with a mouse, honestly, the aiming is a lot easier, and as the monster, you can do some serious damage. That aside, the one thing I really wanted to concentrate on in this video is the Loran. Now, if you didn't know, that is the name for the dropship which drops in the Hunters. Some of you may not know, and some of you might already know, that the Loran actually does hold quite a lot of Easter eggs, and I wanted to explore this more deeply and also explain to those of you that haven't already seen the current Easter eggs that are held within this ship. So you all know that the Hunters, on different combinations of Hunters, have different conversations within the ship, and Evolve have put the conversations into things that might lead on to us knowing what the next hunter or the new monsters might be. Not only that, but there are tons of symbols and stickers and all sorts inside the ship that could be leading on to some things that could be in the future or certain Easter eggs within the game. One of which is definitely an Easter egg, and this is led to believe then that there might be more Easter eggs within the ship. If you don't know this Easter egg already, in front of the assault there is a little symbol with an OK gesture with the hand saying "see that." So that links back to a video I didn't do too long ago about Evolve concept art, and it just happens that one of the hunters within this concept art was named Squire, and one thing that he had next to him was a little speech bubble saying "see that," and it just happens that his hand was doing the exact same gesture. Within this concept art, it just happens that Squire was a medic, but you have to take into account that this might not be a completely confirmed thing, simply because if we go back and look at the other concept art, if you look how Crow used to look, his name used to be Dusty, and he used to look completely different in terms of what he wore and how he looked. So you have to take into account that Evolve might have changed Squire completely and might have gone to an extent of actually changing his name completely. Then you also have to take into account that the symbol lies in front of where the assault stands, which might mean that Squire is actually an assault and in fact could have an entirely different class. Lastly, you have to remember that the symbol must have got there somehow, meaning that Squire might have actually been part of the crew originally and then might lead to what his backstory might have been. Now, this might mean that there are more Easter eggs hidden within the Loran. This skull being one of them, it's interested me for a while. I was wondering if any of you guys knew how to speak Russian or what other language this is, and see if you could translate it and leave it in the comments, because I was wondering if this meant anything. For all I know, it could mean absolutely nothing. The other thing, which I didn't really take into account before, and all of us have seen time and time again, is this badge. Now, this is found on things like Cabot's clothing and around the ship. It's basically the group that all the hunters are part of and is clearing the way for galactic civilization. It's pretty damn sick. However, this is just a thought and possibly not a confirmed Easter egg. But what I'm about to tell you is a confirmed Easter egg. So like I said before about Easter eggs on the Loran, hunters have conversations about future hunters and monsters. Now, one thing that Maggie has been saying is that she's seen a monster or fought a monster that actually spawns other monsters to fight for it. Now, this is a huge hint. Then brings us to the next big Easter egg that relates to this. Now, if you go onto the main menu of Evolve, go to Extras and then Credits, if you watch to the end of the credits, you are left with the following message. Now, this is a huge hidden Easter egg, and someone actually managed to decode the message, and the message reads as follows. Beam, MS Link, M50Z312380, X caps, Akhenaten, CMHQ. Under attack by unknown spontaneously generated hostile entities. Station defenses under entity control suffering heavy casualties. Super heavy ordnance ineffective. Advise no contact, full quarantine, execute protocol BG1132. 5 days of life support remaining. Type beam MS link. This, believe it or not, is Evolve. This was when they were still developing the game, and this monster happened to be one they were developing, but then they decided to leave it and then go and concentrate on bigger monsters such as Goliath and Kraken. But this was the monster that perhaps the message is actually talking about. Now, of course, when they actually bring out the monster, it's going to look a lot different because that's not how they like to produce the game. But basically, this monster actually has entities on its back and then can release them to actually, attack players. Now, the message obviously talks about, multiple entities that are attacking them, which obviously this would fit the story very, very well. It also talks about how these entities have actually taken over their defenses, which also might mean these things can actually take control of things like turrets. Who knows what they could do? It seems like something that could be really interesting in the game, but I think this monster looks a bit fucked up in this image, and I think it will look completely different in the game. But here you go. This might be early footage of what we might be seeing for the fifth monster. When we might be seeing this monster or the next tier of hunters, it will probably be sometime towards this summer when they're going to bring out the next DLC. In terms of Easter eggs, that's all I've got for you guys, but if you have any information you want to leave down in the comments, be sure to do so. And you have to remember that the backstory for all these monsters is the fact that Sheer is a living planet. And when the planet kind of felt that it was being at threat, considering the fact that people were actually mining out its inner materials, that's when it started to produce monsters such as Behemoth, Wraith, Kraken and Goliath as a defense mechanism to go against people on the planet. So it's pretty cool backstory, and it will be really interesting to see what Evolve come up with next. And this fifth monster might be this parasite, it might not be. But one thing is for sure, it's definitely something we're going to be seeing in the future. But then again, it's been your boy Grizzle. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be bringing you guys plenty of content, and make sure you subscribe if you want to hear about any stuff about Evolve or info about Evolve. I'll keep you updated as much as possible. And otherwise than that, I'll see you guys later. And here we have a picture of the developers revealing the sixth monster, a fucking cupcake!